Hi, it's Lori from loristory.com. Thanks for joining me for this Cricut Design Space iPad app tutorial. Let's get started. First thing you're going to notice is on my iPad I have two Cricut icons. This is the old Make It Now Design Space iPad app, and this is the new one. So let's click on this white one and we're just going to tap on it with our finger. You can see on this first screen that comes up, you have a snapshot of the several Make It Now projects that are available on the iPad app. And you can scroll through those by simply placing your finger on the screen and scrolling up or down. You also have an option right up here in the upper left corner. Tap on that and you can filter the Make It Now projects. If you just want to see cards, you would click on this. If you just want to see parties and events projects, you would click on this. And that will filter out some of these so that you don't have to scroll through so many. Let's just tap on one of these projects and see what's here. The first screen that comes up on a Make It Now project is an overview of the project. It shows you materials that are needed. You just place your finger again on the iPad and scroll up or down. You get a list of the materials right here. You get a list of the objects that are needed from the Cricut library and whether they are part of the subscription or free, or if there is a charge for them. And you also get a list of written instructions. It gives you an idea of the difficulty of the project right here. This one is a moderate project, and it's saying that it would approximate that it would take you 1 to 2 hours to complete this project. The last two options we have on this screen is Customize and Make It Now. If you hit the Customize button, this will take you over to your design area where you can change colors and customize the project to your liking. If you click the Make It Now button, this will take you directly to the cutting screen where you can just load your paper and go. You don't have to mess with it at all. It's going to be all set up for you exactly as it's shown on this project sheet. The other option you can do is once you click on one, if you want to see the next one, you can hit this side arrow and you can scroll through them this way. Let's tap off of that. This button right here is where you're going to start all your new projects. Let's tap on that. And this will bring you up to your design area. Here, the first thing you're going to want to do is click on this little guy up here in the upper left corner, and that's where you're going to log in. I'm already logged in, but you will have to put your email, your Cricut email and password in to log in. The next button here is Save, and that speaks for itself. This is where you will tap to save your projects. The next button is the plus. This is where you will go to start a new project. Over here we have Projects. This will take us back to the previous screen. This is your home screen. We have Design. This is your design area. And then we have Mat, which will take you to your cutting mats once you have an object on your work area. Down here we have Insert Image. We have Insert Text. We have Actions, Edit, Sync, Layers, Undo, Redo, Settings, and Send to Mat. The first thing we're going to do is click on this Settings button. Here you can change this to metrics if you want. You can turn the grid on or off just by sliding your finger and toggling it off or on. I like to leave it on. And then we have Smart Guides, and I love this feature. I can't wait till this is included in Design Space, hopefully, at some point. And I'll show you what that does in a little bit. But I would suggest that you toggle that on. Okay, let's start with Insert Image. Let's go to this button right here in the lower left. And this is going to take us to our Cricut library. You can see here that the library looks very much like it does in the Design Space desktop app. You can just scroll through it using your finger. Scroll up or down. You have some options here. You can search by categories. And let's tap on that. And this gives you 3 different options. You have brands, where you can choose Anna Griffin, Creative Bug, Disney. You can search by brands. We have categories. We can search by achievement, animals, wildlife, baby, birthday, Christmas. Let's just click on baby. And this will show you all the projects that involve babies or objects. Uncheck that. And down here we have one last category, and that is featured. And this will show you free this week, most popular, and recently added. This is really handy to see what's new in Design Space in a quick and easy way without searching. The next button up here is cartridges. We can search by cartridge now. They are in alphabetical order, so you can look at them like this, or if you know the name of the cartridge, you can just click on it and type in the name of the cartridge. We'll put create, and as you start to type it, it fills in. So if we were going to look for create a critter, it would be right there. And we'll back out of that. The next thing we can do is over here in the upper right corner, we have another filter. This filter lets us choose all ownerships, my images, uploaded images, free images, subscriptions, purchased. It also lets us filter by type. There's all types, 3D, borders, cards, envelopes, and you can scroll up. You can also filter by any layers, single layers, or multiple layers. For our demonstration, we're going to grab a heart. So we're just going to type the word heart and hit search. And this will bring me all kinds of hearts. So let's just grab this one. And you can see it's right down here in a little bin waiting for me to insert it. But I also want another one. So let's, before we insert it, let's grab a circle. Oops. And I'm just going to grab that one. And now you can see down here we have both the circle and the heart, and I'm going to hit insert. Okay, the first thing we want to go over is when you select an object, you will notice that you now have these little buttons on the side. This button deletes. The red X will delete it if you tap it. This button rotates. To rotate, you just put your finger on it, and it will snap into place at 45 degrees, but other than that, it will rotate freely. And we're back where we started. This button in the lower right corner allows me to resize the image just by placing my finger on it and dragging in and out. That's this button. This button over here is the lock. This is the keep proportions. If we unlock this, this button over here changes. Now I can, oops. This button over here changes, so now we can stretch it disproportionately instead of keeping proportions. I mostly keep that locked. The next thing we're going to look at is actions. And you can see this brings up a whole toolbar of more tools. We have group, ungroup, attach, detach, weld, slice, flatten, unflatten, arrange, duplicate, isolate letters. And these are all available through the Actions panel. Now before I do any actions or editing, I like to pull up the Layers panel so that I can see what's going on. And that is this icon right here. So we hit Layers. And now we have our Layers panel over here. We can see we have a heart layer and we have a circle layer. So let's go down here and look at the Actions panel and what these options are. The first one is Group. Now if you've worked in Design Space, you're familiar with Group, but if you haven't, what Group does is it takes two objects and it places them together, tap on the screen, hold, and drag a square around both objects. And now you can see they are both selected over here in the Layers panel. Now if we tap Group down here, you can see over here in the Layers panel that these are now grouped together. Anytime I select on it, it's going to select both of them. If I resize it, it's going to resize both of them. So they're no longer single objects, they are grouped together. To ungroup them, we just simply hit Ungroup. And now I can move the heart without the circle. I can size the heart without the circle, or the circle without the heart. Okay, the next button we have is Attach. We can attach this heart to the circle. So if we, again, select them both by putting our finger on the corner and dragging a square over the both of them, we can hit Attach. And what Attach will do is attach the heart to the circle. And since they are both uncut, if we were to hit Send to Matte, you will see that it's going to cut the heart out of the circle. Let's go back to our design area and let's detach. And now that we've detached, we can pull them apart. Again, let's turn our Layers panel back on. We also have the Weld feature. If we were to take this circle and place this heart halfway over it, we select both by placing our finger and drawing a circle, and we can weld. And now this became one layer over here. It's a welded image, and it's set on cut. Let's hit Undo, which is this button right here. And we'll hit it again until they become two separate objects again, and they are. We can see that in the Layers panel. The next button is Slice. We can put the heart on top of the circle, select both. And an important thing to remember, whenever you slice, you can only have 2 layers selected, and we only have 2 layers selected. So let's hit Slice. And now we've sliced that heart out of that circle. So let's hit Undo again. We have 2 separate layers, and we do. The next object we have is Flatten. If we were to change the color of this heart by clicking on it in the Layers panel, click on this arrow, and we can change the color. Now we place the heart back on the circle. We select both, and we flatten. And that will flatten it, and that now makes that a 1-layer print and cut image. So let's hit Undo. Undo. The next button we have is Arrange. If you select an object and this heart is on top of the circle, we can hit Arrange and we can move it to the back. And now the heart is behind the circle. We can move it forward, and now it's back in front. The other button, or the next button that we have, is Duplicate. Select an object, hit Duplicate, and it makes another one. Duplicate again, and we have another one. And this last button is to use with text. So let's get this stuff out of our way. And we're going to add some text. So let's click on the Insert Text. And we get our text dialog right here, text toolbar. We can choose our font right here. And we can filter it by Cricut fonts, system fonts, or all fonts. Let's just use the Cricut fonts. And we can scroll through them. Let's go Cricut Classic. Once we have our font chosen, we can go to the keyboard and type our word. And we'll just type hello. And then we can drop the keyboard. And here's our font. So we have our word, and we can change the style, we can change the alignment, we can change the size and the letter spacing, and the width, and the height, and their width, height, rotate, horizontal, vertical positions. So let's go back to our toolbar. So let's drop the keyboard. And we were in Actions. And this isolate letters. And what this will do, let's turn the layers panel back on. Here's our word. And if we hit isolate letters, watch the layers panel. Now all of these letters are separate layers in the layers panel. So what that means we can do is I can move this O, the L, I can move these freely. So that's what the isolate letters is. Let's hit undo. Get those back together. Okay, before we go any further, we're starting to get a lot of stuff on our screen and we can't see everything. I wanted to show you this little trick. You can take two fingers, pinch together, and zoom out. The same token, you can zoom in if you're trying to work on something in particular. Two fingers and press out, zooms out. Two fingers, press in, zooms in. Selecting, you just select and move. Okay, the next panel that we're going to look at is the Edit panel, which is right here. And let's see what tools are under there. Let's select the heart. We can change the width and height of the heart, and again we have the Keep Proportion Lock button right here. So if we want to make this heart 5 inches tall, we just hit 5.00, and it is locked in proportion, so it decided what the width needed to be. If we just wanted to change one dimension without changing the other, we would click on the lock, unlock it, and now we can just change the width to 6.00. Oops. So let's lock proportions back up. We can rotate it. We can set it 45 degrees and it will rotate it. We can also flip it horizontally or vertically. That's horizontal. It's a symmetrical shape, so you're not going to see it. But if we flip it vertically, you'll see it here. And we can change where it's at on the mat. We can change it to, we want this at the 5-inch horizontal position and the vertical at 5 inches. So now if we look at the grid lines up here, we can see this is at the 5-inch mark this way and it's at the 5-inch mark that way. Okay, the next button we have here is the Sync button. This works just like it does in Design Space. If we want to make our circle purple like the heart, we just click on it and drag it down to the purple. And now it's purple. If we want to make our word hello purple, we just drag it down to purple. We have the Layers panel, which we have been looking at a little bit. Here you can click on the arrow by the layer and you can change it to cut, draw, score, or print. You can change the color. You can scroll down here to change the palette, and then you can pick a color up here to your liking. Also in the Layers panel, you will notice that we have a layer turned off here. If we want to turn that on, we just click on that layer, and then we go down here to the eye, and we turn it on. If we want to get rid of a layer, we can just click on it and hit the trash can. Click on it and hit the trash can. We can also duplicate a layer from here. We can hit duplicate, which is this button right here. So that's a basic overview of the iPad app. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. We will go in depth further into the Actions panel, the Edit panel, the Layers panel, and just manipulating images in future videos. But I wanted to give you an idea of how to maneuver in the Design Space app and where to find the tools. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.